So Ubisoft has officially shown us some Star Wars Outlaws gameplay at the Ubisoft Forward show, and my god, it looked absolutely amazing. I'm going to be pretty much breaking down all of the news that we got and showing you the gameplay in the background. It is currently 4:30 AM and I start work at 5:30 AM, so I'm going to have to just pump this one out. This will be a bit more of like my initial thoughts and the initial information they gave us, and then later in the week I'll be back with a bit more of a proper breakdown and going over every single thing that we know about the game. If you are interested in Star Wars Outlaws, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. There will be plenty more content on the way as we get more news about the game. But with that being said, let's get stuck into all of the juicy details. So firstly, just a few bits of information about the setting and the sort of storyline of the game. It is confirmed to be taking place between episode 5 and episode 6. We can see that by Han Solo in Carbonite in the initial trailer. However, it essentially has nothing to do with the actual main storyline of Star Wars. It is more surrounding the sort of outlaws and the underworld throughout the galaxy. Kay Vess is the main character, who is a thief, and her little companion Nyx, the sort of little cat thing, cutest little companion ever. And as these characters, you will become one of the galaxy's most wanted criminals. Kay is looking for freedom, and in order to get that freedom, she wants to pull off one of the biggest heists the Outer Rim has ever seen, and that will essentially be the general idea of the storyline. Now, they confirmed that the game will have varied open world locations, so it's not going to be like Survivor where there's sort of one planet that's open world and then there are other planets that are a little bit smaller. They have confirmed that there will be multiple planets that are all considered open world planets, so that is very, very exciting. We got to see probably 3 or 4 by the looks of it in the gameplay that they showed us, and all of them so far look absolutely awesome. The one that most of the gameplay took place on in this gameplay showcase was called Toshara, so it's a brand new confirmed planet, and it looks absolutely sick, so I'm very keen to explore this planet, as I'm sure you guys are as well. Now, getting into the actual gameplay, there is a lot of stealth gameplay by the looks of it, which I'm actually really excited about. I feel like a lot of Star Wars games don't really have that option, just because most of the time we're playing as like a Jedi type of character where you don't really need to be stealthy if you've got a freaking lightsaber, but in this game it definitely makes sense to have that stealth gameplay, and I'm definitely very keen to have that option when you're playing. Nyx, who like I said is Kay's little companion, can actually do certain things like attack enemies, distract them, and even actually fetch items, so you can see a weapon on the ground and actually tell Nyx to go and grab that and pretty much acquire yourself a new weapon, which I thought was an awesome touch. And then on top of that, you can actually change the blaster type, so we see throughout the gameplay that there is the regular fire mode, but then there's also like a stun mode and like a charge mode that kind of gets rid of shield. So it seems like the gameplay is going to be actually fairly deep. It's not just like a shoot 'em up type of game. There'll be some actual strategy surrounding it, which I'm definitely very keen for. We also do see a grapple feature, and then we also see a bit of speed gameplay, which is very exciting. It's going to be good to get around all of these planets. If they are really vast open world planets, then having that speed there is going to be an awesome way to get around. It looks very scenic as well, so I'm very keen to get stuck into that. It even looks like there is a sort of Deadeye feature that is obviously seen throughout many games out there, probably most notably games like Red Dead 2, even Jedi Survivor actually had this as well. So it looks like there will be a lot of different skills to upgrade. I wonder if there will be like proper skill trees and stuff. This does seem like the type of skill where it's something you'll eventually learn throughout the game and can hopefully even improve on it as well. We then finally meet the awesome BX Commando in a freaking trench coat. His name is ND5. He seems pretty cool so far. He seems like he's just completely got a mind of his own. A lot of droids seem like they are just literally all the same, but he seems like he's actually a very unique character. So I'm very keen to see the story behind him and whether she's like rewired him or whatever, but he seems like a pretty cool little companion to have along for the journey. Now, we also see that there is actually a reputation system, which again can be seen in games like, for example, Red Dead 2, where depending on your actions, depending on how you actually approach the gameplay, certain factions within the game will actually have, I guess, more or less respect for you, depending on how you approach it. So if you go and shoot up a bunch of the Pike Syndicate, for example, they are going to very much dislike you, whereas maybe you can approach that same situation a bit more friendly, I guess, and then actually maybe build relationships with those syndicates, or even if it's just down to the fact that maybe they don't hate you compared to if you shoot them all up. I'm not sure how deep that will run just yet, but that is definitely an awesome little system to have in the game. To go even further with that, there is also then a wanted system, pretty much again like GTA or Red Dead 2. There's a lot of little features that seem to be similar to those type of games, where essentially if you do the wrong thing to the Empire, they will essentially be tracking you down and you will become wanted by the Empire. You You can even see up in the top left, similar again to GTA with the star system, it looks like there is a sort of level to the wanted system. So if that Imperial logo gets fully red, for example, it may be that they are genuinely chasing you down and sending even like more highly trained soldiers after you, whereas if it's a lower level, for example, maybe they just send a few stormtroopers after you. So that is a really cool system, and I also wonder if that will be the case with, for example, the different syndicates. So if you do something wrong to the Pike Syndicate, maybe they will then put you on their wanted list as well, and it might be more than just the actual Empire. Now, the most exciting part of this gameplay section for me was the fact that there looks like there is ground to air combat. So we obviously see some Starfighter gameplay in here, which I thought looked pretty good. It looked a little bit like unfinished and janky, but to be fair, the game is probably potentially 18 months away, so it obviously is a little bit unfinished right now, but it still looked fairly good, I thought. However, the fact that it is ground to air combat by the looks of it, unless this was just like an editing trick, but it was meant to be raw gameplay, so I don't think that is the case. And it does seem like we're going to literally just be able to get into your ship and take off from the surface of the planet and head directly into space, and then even, as we can see, seamlessly going into hyperspace. So that is very, very exciting. That's something that I think everyone has always been wanting in a Star Wars game. I remember in the Battlefront 2 days, everyone wanted it. I remember with Fallen Order and Survivor, people have been screaming for that. So to finally have that, I'm very, very keen for that. And yeah, it looked absolutely great. It looked completely seamless. It looked like they jumped into hyperspace and ended up arriving to their destination without any like cuts in the gameplay or anything like that. So I don't know how that's going to work. That's a pretty big thing to have, just be able to load entire new sections of the galaxy on the fly by the looks of it, but it looked absolutely insane to me. We do also then see various planets at the end, kind of just in a, it's not so much gameplay, it's more like a little bit of a trailer at the end of the gameplay. One thing I want to note is that it does look like Kijimi actually is essentially all but confirmed. I'm not going to actually say that with chest just yet, but it looked very much like a Kijimi that we see in The Rise of Skywalker, which would make sense because that is a bit of a like outlaw type of planet that we see. And then there are a few other planets too that look absolutely awesome. There's like a desert planet and even like a sort of jungle looking planet. So it seems like we're not just going to be on one single planet and then the rest are a bit smaller. It seems like they will actually be vast open worlds that are all very different from each other. There is no official release date just yet, unfortunately, though. They just pretty much stuck with the coming 2024, which I did expect. I didn't think they would give an actual like a month or anything like that, but if I had to guess, it would probably be late 2024. So we're still, if I have to guess, at least a year away from this game, which is fair enough. I don't think any of us actually expected it to be launching next year, to be honest. So my guess would be September, October, November of next year. But obviously that does mean we'll probably start to get more news as we enter 2024. So I'm very, very excited for that. All of the stuff they showed off looked absolutely awesome. And hopefully we start to get some more gameplay and information over the coming months. That is going to do it for this one though, guys. Like I said, I will be going through and sort of breaking it down in a bit more of a structured video. I'm sort of running out of time this morning, so this is just my initial thoughts and the initial information, but there will be plenty more content on the way, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm keen to hear what you guys think as well, so be sure to leave your thoughts down below. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.